Hey y'all, it's Renegade, and we're back with another double dose of reality in our reviews for episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17 and the season finale of Canada's Drag Race Season 5. But before I go off, Queens, I can't do this alone, so let's welcome in this random bitch that stole my trimmings. It's QuackkrJack! Jack, how are you doing tonight, and what are your thoughts now that US has finally sent home their first queen, just as Canada has crowned their first queen of the year?
You know, this has been such a great Canadian season of Drag Race. I have loved almost every single part of it. I think it just is leagues above the rest so far. A great start to our year as we look at our 2025 seasons of Drag Race. And I think there's one way I can really sum it up is our own quote from this season of Drag Race. Who the fuck is this gorgeous whore?
Oh, I mean, it's just me, Jack. It's just me.
No. I meant our queens. I meant our
Oh,
queens.
okay. I mean, I guess they could qualify that too. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. Canada 5 was by far such a surprising start to the year here, and we're definitely going to talk about the season finale here in just a few moments. But before we do, y'all, make sure you like and subscribe for more content, especially now that we're down to only one franchise for a few weeks here. I think that gives us the time here to make some additional videos that we've been promising for you, so we'll definitely make sure to get those to out to you very soon here. But one of those videos that we are going to definitely do will be our own personal rankings for how we would judge Canada's Drag Race Season 5, as the season officially just ended just over a week ago. So we figured out who snatched the crown between our four finalists. Lena Poison, Michaela Couture, Minnie Wing, and the Virgo Queen. And y'all kind of already know how they do the formats for the Canadian finales for the most part, since they've been doing it for the last few years the same way. We get a photo shoot with our current reigning queen, which doesn't really matter here, but it's nice to see Venus again. We get a stage performance of a a really poorly designed single track here. And we also get one final judgment before we narrow it down to our final two. So, we kind of, again, we know the process here. It's been really kind of what they do here for the most part. But for me, particularly, it felt like, kind of like I said last week, that this week's challenge was going to play a huge role in kind of how the season ended up going at the very end here, because really I do think they took this last week's performance into account, because without a doubt, I think we were kind of talking about this last week. I don't think Michaela had a shot unless she blew this finale out of the water. And for me personally, Michaela was that bitch. She gave not only the best track, but the best performance combination without a doubt. That Oh my god, just everything that kind of followed after her, I was always comparing to her, and it didn't feel like it ever kind of lived up for that. So for me, when they ultimately broke things down and gave us our top two of Michaela Couture and the Virgo Queen, it kind of felt right to me. I do feel like there is something that we're probably going to get into about one of the other two finalists that were there that probably could have taken the spot here for sure. But just based on how the track records kind of went for the season, how everybody performed just in this finale, I do kind of think the top two is justified here. Virgo has been doing amazing the entire season, and she did have a point in the middle there where I was a little worried for her, but she definitely kind of bounced back, I think, at the end. And as far as I'm concerned, like I said, Michaela had the performance of the night here. So unfortunately, that did mean that Helena Poison and Minnie Wang were eliminated going into our top two lip sync. Ultimately, at that point, what did they lip sync to, Jack? I completely forgot. Take the note on
Girl, I wish I could
it.
forget. How dare you, though? I can't believe.
Oh, it was the that one country song. Was it Shania Twain? Was it Shania Twain? So,
It was Shania
yeah, okay, it was
Twain.
Shania Twain. Okay, yeah. It was eh, I mean, it really at the ultimate day it didn't matter because they were going to give the crown to whoever they wanted to, and ultimately the crown went to the Virgo
Oh.
Queen. I do think that between the two, and we can kind of talk about this a little bit more, Jack, when we get your opinion here. But I definitely think that while I loved Michaela's finale look, it definitely screwed her over on this performance, just like it kind of did on the very first lip sync against Virgo. Um, I I do think while I think Michaela for me is the more entertaining performer, Virgo. win is definitely justified here, and I think she earned the crown for sure, 1000%. Jack, go off here on your thoughts here of what happened here tonight.
Go off on a bit more of an analysis here on what happened this episode. For me personally, I could not get over some of the big flaws I saw in a couple of the different choices made by a couple of our finalists. I think starting out, we all kind of expected Minnie has the best track record. She might make it to the end, but then it's a performance challenge. And although she did look amazing in her finale photo shoot, this Wonderful was a performance. It was indeed a performance. It was just not well done. Unfortunately, she was missing moves. The choreo was off. It was a very fun track, but it kind of felt like it just overshadowed everything else this episode for her. It just, unfortunately, she didn't really look great in the performance in what she was wearing, and then also she didn't look great doing the performance. So, she kind of got the ixnay on the ability to be in the top two, which I'm not that surprised. We knew Minnie wasn't the biggest performer, which is why I didn't have any of my eggs in her basket. Also, her coronation eleganza look, I really enjoyed how she styled this. I loved her culture. I love the red and I love the gold throughout. I just think that the material for the gold on the body, like corset slash like the golden part on her body that connects the red fabric and stuff, I just felt it looked kind of cheap at the end, right? I think if we all look at it, we can all kind of agree it could have been a little bit better done or different material. I just think it's a material choice, and it kind of lowered her down on my looks as well. So I kind of understood why she wasn't going to make the end. But for Michaela, I got to be honest with you, I do not have the same opinion about her doing the best performance, but I think she did a great performance. But I can't justify a top two for Michaela. I love her, but the finale photo shoot was kind of a mess for her. She had by far the weakest photo shoot look. Let's be real. This was not a nude illusion for her, and I hate saying this about our queens of color because I know it's so difficult to get um, these specific skin colored outfits. It just this wasn't it, and it didn't look good. So the photo shoot was a fail for me, and then the coronation look could have looked good, but it was wearing her. She was not wearing this look. And I mean, no hate because the gown is beautiful. She says this is her wedding gown. The crystals are dripping off. It looks amazing. But I just didn't feel like she was wearing the gown. And so for me, that really prevented her from being in the top two. Whereas I felt like we should have gotten our kind of diva moment of Virgo versus Helena in this final, like what we could have gotten. Because Virgo, I think, did extremely well in the song. I think Helena did very well in the song. They both did incredible in the photo shoot. I will say again, Virgo's isn't giving very nude illusion, but that with her coronation look, I think she definitely and her performance overall throughout the season. I think she really snatched her spot in here, and I think the most deserved spot in the finale should have gone to Helena for her performance throughout the season. Her final coronation look is beautiful, just like Virgo's, and her performance is great, just like Virgo's. So overall, Helena had the strongest track record for me at the very end. Even if Virgo maybe could be seen as the winner this week, I still would have put it against her and Virgo. And that final lip sync song, we would have actually gotten a really good performance from both of them. Instead, we were left with one of the like worst kind of lip sync finales I've ever seen.
I wouldn't go that far, but I also know you're a little bit more critical of Michaela than I am. I personally felt like Michaela has been the star of the season without a doubt. I feel like every single storyline has had to do with her one way or another, and I personally couldn't picture a finale, a final two, without her being there. Whether that means Helena or Virgo take the other spot, I kind of think that's just up to kind of personal opinion. But personally, honestly, really, any of the top five probably could have won this season. Let's be real. Like, it had we got maybe a different top five challenge. I mean, we never got a Rusical this season. Um, there's a few other staple challenges I don't think that we necessarily had here. So I feel like if you switch up the track or things here and there, any of these three really could have won for me personally. Um, I think it just really kind of comes down to what your personal taste was. Like I said, I don't think we had that queen this season that was so far out ahead to the point where we're like, okay, like Sasha Colby, there was no Sasha Colby this season. There's no Bob the Drag Queen this season. There was no Bianca Del Rio this season. Um, as much as
I mean,
I
Virgo
actually,
started that way.
I mean, she did. She started off extremely well, and I think that's why she to some degrees kind of is in a lot of ways is that girl this season. But as far as I'm concerned here, I feel like with a lot of the things that Virgo was given her win on, Michaela could have easily as well just gotten a win here too as well. Like she could have easily gotten the win in episode one. She could have easily gotten the win during the lip sync SmackDown. I do feel like Michaela and Virgo are very similar in a lot of ways. So I think a lot of their strengths kind of, conflicted each other. But in a lot of ways, you could say the same thing happened with Helena and Minnie too, because and even Perla too, you could throw in there because the three of them really were kind of competing for the same kind of wins. So if you have a favorite between the five and one of them is, Helena, I could see it justified. If Virgo's your favorite, I see it justified. Minnie is your favorite. I could see it justified as well too. Like I said, everybody in this top five, as far as I'm concerned, would have been a justified winner. So I don't really have a pull strongly one way or another feeling about it. Like I really truly fell in love with everybody on this cast except Uma.
Oh, girl, come on, don't bring her up. At least if you're gonna do that, be kind and give her like the let's talk about how she looked
Okay,
the best she's ever looked on the runway lip
she
sync.
did. She did. And I will say she was a fun character for us to root against. Because I think you do need that for to complete the cast. You do need that one kind of antagonistic force that maybe you don't vibe with as much, but is still kind of, out there. So as far as I'm concerned, like Canada Drag Race season five, like people are gonna I think overall they kind of look at the season and kind of just judge it based off of just the runways alone and looking at that, they're like, okay, well, people didn't bring much talent this season. I feel like this has got to be, without a doubt, the most charismatic cast of newbies that we've had in such a long time. Like every single person was so much fun. I had such a good time getting to know, even like Tiffany, Terranova, the early out, Sangina, like they all had a spot. They all left their mark in some degree. So like this really, really was such a fun experience that, like I said, it's not tainted by the winner for me at all.
Oh, definitely not.
If anything, the finale kind of made me really enjoy this group a lot more. But like I said, I do understand completely why there is such a variance of opinions here, just because everybody stands out in this group, even though they're not necessarily like I'd say people that you would think as like icons in certain things. Like we don't have that guaranteed fashion queen, we don't have like that guaranteed comedy queen, but like so many of these girls are so well rounded that I think that's what made it such a good competition this year.
I agree that a lot of these queens are well rounded, but I think, everyone kind of had their either their, weak moment or they had something that maybe they struggled in more than the other girls. But like when I was looking at our top four, it was for me, like I have a slightly different view where I just don't think I could have seen a world where either Michaela or Minnie really won the crown, only because well, Michaela had kind of a rough go of it as terms of like how many times she was in the bottom versus how many wins she got, and then also the fact that the finale lip sync song really would have done in both of them. Which is kind of why I think she was chosen. If I have to be completely honest here, I really do think that they kind of knew Minnie wasn't going to win because her performance skills were not up to the same caliber as a lot of the other girls here. And like I said, everyone has their weaknesses and their strengths. And unfortunately, Minnie's weakness was her performance, so I didn't see her having really a chance to win. But when they picked Michaela for that top two, I was gagged. I was gooped. I was like, okay. Like, I understand she was a very fun character for us this whole season. We were always rooting for her. She was extremely charismatic. You know, I don't want to say that each of these queens was like a different, like, one was unique, one was nerve. I don't want to just say that, but it did feel like she probably was the charismatic queen of the top four at this point, even though they're all very likable. I just kind of felt like this was like the cementing for certain that like Virgo was going to get her win, and I think it's a well deserved win. I just think that it would have been more fun had we actually seen a real lip sync off here because, I mean, you mentioned it, her look kind of threw her off during this lip sync, but this lip sync was so rough for me, girl. Oh, I was like painfully looking at the screen. There was times I wanted to cover up my eyes and just peek through. I was like, oof, oof. Like the camera was literally trying to unfocus its view onto Michaela as she kept making mistakes. She forgot the lyrics, I'm pretty sure, at one point, and there was like a really rough go of it. If you just try to kind of look over at her direction, she had one of the worst lip sync performances of the season right there. And I don't think it's all her fault because again, her outfit. But at this point, take
That
off the
is still kind of her
headpiece.
part, though. That's kind of her fault.
I agree.
If
It
you're not
is.
gonna plan the outfits that you're wearing to be possibly able to lip sync in them, then that's an issue.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes, that.
that's partially like I love this outfit. I get it, but you're absolutely right. It is wearing her.
I just think that there's also this issue where for her specifically, like if she had taken off the headpiece, I don't know if everyone clocked this or not, but you could kind of see the cotton underneath or whatever it was to like, pad the from her head to like either not hurt her wig or not like to sit on her head easier. Like you could see it coming out kind of thing. And it's just those small details that it was kind of hard to see, but like, when they focus in on the queen and they like do a close up, you kind of see that stuff. And I think it was just something that really was like, it really took me out of the vision of what it was going for. And then when this lip sync started, I mean, the caliber of lip sync ability in a like a ballad like this was like night and day, girl. We've seen Virgo already do a lip sync to a ballad, and I don't know why, but she thought the girls didn't know that she could do it. And I was like, Virgo, I thought you could lip sync to anything. Like she could be over here doing the Morse code lip sync, but actually doing the Morse code by her lips and not just her foot. And I would believe that she could do it perfectly because I saw the skill. I was like, oh shit. Um, so I felt like this position to put Michaela in the top. Yes, it makes sense for the season and the editing so far, but it doesn't feel justified other than to guarantee a Virgo win, which I think could have happened either way, or we
I
could have
do
just
think it was
had
going to happen either way. Honestly, I kind of feel like regardless what they did, Virgo was going to win. Like
right, and we could have had like
I don't
Helena
see.
there.
That's why I don't think that necessarily it was like that's why that I feel like it comes down to what they probably did this episode and just the fact that they never. Let's be real, they didn't give Helena any of the praise that she should have gotten in a lot of the other challenges that she could have won. And the
True.
fact that they kind of gave her the substitute win at the top five, where, I mean, honestly, anybody could have technically won that based off of whatever they were judging it on. I don't think that they had Helena in mind as someone that they were planning on, you know, getting past this point. Um, Felt like they gave her a win just to make sure that she kind of, felt good into the finale. And then they're like, okay, well, to be fair, and I know that you love Helena, but like between the two, I do think Michaela had the strongest performance of the night. So if we're looking at this being her,
Ooh.
her second win, then I could kind of see it being, justified personally. So it's kind of honestly here and there at that point because we're kind of just arguing over who's the runner up, you know?
Well, yeah, I
And
mean, even with the Scarlet Bobo kind of edit they gave her, like I still think she deserved her spot, but like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I mean, but I do believe that if we're going to be 100% real, why I think it does matter is I think there is a world where I don't think it's like a guaranteed or gonna happen kind of thing. But I definitely think there's a world where Helena could beat Virgo in a lip sync, and I do think that this is a possibility that she might have been able to deliver. I don't know that she could have on this song, but she definitely had a much better chance than any of the other finalists. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna argue with you on Helena being talented. She's absolutely talented. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes down to it, Virgo got the crown anyway. So us trying to decide between the two of us who our favorite was, they'll just be have the crown in our hearts there. Plus, we'll kind of see who gets the crown when we end up ranking here too. So that'll be a fun video to go after for sure. But before we move on here, Jack, I know you love some good looks here. Do you have any shout outs that you want to give out for any of the eliminated girls looks here?
Okay, so yes, we have to first start with our Miss Congeniality. Congratulations,
Yes,
Jaylene
congratulations.
Time. This is a beautiful outfit. I forget the artist that she mentioned on the show who made this for her, but they did an amazing job. It looks so beautiful. The orange and black and white. It's such a beautiful look. She looks timeless. I love that she always brings her political statements and herself to all of her looks. She really is. She has her brand. It's just beautiful. I want to shout out Sangina's look. I think it was very creative. I think it's a little campy in terms of like how it was executed, but this is just an amazing outfit, an amazing look. This is like what I love to see. I love to see this creativity level. I just think that this really shows that she is a queen who knows what she wants to do, and I think in a couple years she's going to reach such a level of stardom. I could definitely see her come back for a show or for like another show, another season. And then finally, my favorite look of the night actually went to the most gorgeous whore, Tiffany. I love this look. I think she looks beautiful in this white cream and gold kind of outfit. I mean, she really does look like everything. I mean, she's got literal like tapestries hanging from her arm. She's got the pointed shoulders and the gold, and the headpiece matches. It's beautiful. The right amount of stoning, the right amount of detail everywhere. Nothing you look at here looks wrong, and I just think just drag done so well. And if I didn't say your fave's queen name, I'm so sorry, but these were just my fave standouts, or the queens that I felt like really needed a moment from our eliminated queens list.
No, I totally agree with all three. Especially, I just want to say, like, Jaylene's energy. Like, I feel like that was it. I feel like it was something that was missing while she was gone. Like, I felt like when she came back, I was like, oh, I kind of missed this. I missed her just having these random, just like moments where she would just give the children knowledge because we definitely need the education. And like, she just has a
Hmm.
way of commanding the presence. And I loved when she was literally like, "Can we just talk about the elephant in the room? I look stunning." It's just like, yes, Jaylene, yes. Honestly, such a fantastic cast here again. So many standouts, so many people that I know for a fact will come back in the future in other seasons, and I cannot wait to see so many of them. I literally have at least uh, six of these queens on my list for Drag One. I'm gonna have to start saving right now. Did I say Drag One? I can't even speak either. But yeah, fantastic season. Very, 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 very happy to see Canada is just continuing to get stronger and stronger every single year. Um, with that being said, though, y'all, it's time to go ahead and shift the focus on over to Drag Race season 17, y'all. And it is our first official elimination episode of the season after that two-part premiere with that shady ass ending. And let me just tell
Ugh.
you, this was a shady ass episode. Dare I say, from start to finish. And I kind of live for it. Like we got a lot of good drama here. Lots of it that was manufactured by the twists, but there was a lot that was manufactured by the girls as well here too. So very fitting that we had a design challenge, behind all of this here. But let's go ahead and start out with the obvious drama here. Because we saw this coming last week, and it was something that I think we were all excited to finally get because Rue finally did what we wanted him to do in season 16. He revealed the Rate Queen results. Not just the results of where they stood in the rankings, but where each individual queen stood. And you could tell some girls were getting impressed at where other girls were putting them. And I think the biggest thing to kind of come out of this was the fact that Ariete and Lana, their alliance, got clocked. There was so many girls talking about, whether or not they were being fair for how they were ranking. Then we had other queens like Sam and Jules, who were obviously, drag family members who were ranking each other high. So, as far as I'm concerned, I thought it was all fair game. Did you have any thoughts here on the reactions to the Rate Queen results here?
Oh my god, yes. I took a couple notes that I wanted to talk about this thing. I'll go over this fast, but I want to note that everyone put Susie Toot in the top, other than Lana, who put her kind of lowish at 4 out of the group. Remember, there's 7 people per group, and I thought that was really interesting because, like, people were like upset about this, but Lana also said that she rated 2 people high that she didn't think the others would, and this included Ariete and I believe it was Lydia. And so I felt like that was justification enough. But these girls were just so upset if they didn't get like the number 1, number 2 spot or whatever, right? Like, why was Susie acting so shocked? Like, you're not guaranteed. You're not supposed to be given your score. Like, you have to earn your score like everyone else does, right? Like, this is what the queens thought. Some of them could be opinion, some of them could be strategy, but we've seen this before, girls. Stop getting your titties in a twist because guess what? At the end of the day, it didn't matter. You still
Nope.
ended up in the top. You still got your unfair win. Like, just let it happen, girl. I mean, no hate, but like, we can all agree that she didn't win that lip sync. I mean, not everyone will, but you know, people who care about the lip sync rather than their fave queen will agree with that. Now, that being said, you're allowed to have your own opinion. Um, it just might be wrong. But anyways, continuing. So really funnily, I think we all agreed here that we thought that Lucky was going to be in the top 2 for this group. And funnily enough, I looked at it, and when she was rated in 4th and 5th place by Crystal, Lexi, Corey, and Lana. And I was shocked because I was like, how could she have been 4th or 5th place doing her lemonade thing? Because I thought for sure she was a top 2 shoe and even top 1 possibly for
Yeah.
me. So I was gagged by these choices. So I don't think she's the only girl that was getting a little help on the side or nothing. So I think some of these girls were playing a game we just didn't see off the camera, and that's completely fine. But again, let's not act like we're all like sisterly perfect. Everyone should do what I want when I want. Um, and then that takes me to another spot where this is the other thing that I thought was a little sus was Ariete was ranked 3rd by Corey, Crystal, and Lexi, right? And I felt like we all kind of agreed that Ariete's performance was never going to be in the bottom, but it wasn't going to be very high up. Whereas everyone else, other than Lana, ranked her in 6th place, and I thought that was so interesting because I gotta be honest with you. I mean, Joella and Acacia probably should have been the 6th and 7th only spots for me personally. So for her to be so far down, I was kind of gagged. Also, all the queens only gave Joella 5th, 6th, and 7th placements, and she seemed a little shook by that and tried to blush it off by just saying, "Let me see my picture. I just care about my picture." And then she was mad that Lana had said in the Untucked that they had been giving her flowers. I think you can still say someone did a good job or whatever and not rank them the highest on the list. But also, she didn't even do that good of a job. They were just trying to be kind to her because they were trying to be sisterly, right? Like no one was trying to be a bitch, but also at the same time, they had to be fake to each other anyway. So I don't know why you mad about it. Not like you were completely real with anyone until after you were safe.
Right. That twist just breeds people being fake to each other. So it's just like
Right.
the
And
fact
it
that
is
now they're
what it
getting to
is.
see it at this point, it's like, well, you kind of also have to analyze what you were doing too at the same time. Like all of them were being equally shady. I mean, like, how are you going to get that offended over, I guess, one of your competitors' opinions at the end of the day when everybody's playing the game? That's my opinion. Um,
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I was like, you're playing the game. Did you end up in the bottom? No, you're safe. Good. Like, did you get your top two placement? Maybe not, but did you deserve it?
Probably
Probably
not,
not.
honestly.
Like, right. Like, I feel like for the most part, people got it right. Again, I wouldn't have picked Susie for my top two, but like, and I maybe wouldn't have picked Crystal Envy for my top two, but like, again, I think that at the end of the day, it is the Rate a Queen challenge. So if you didn't win here, you can always just say, well, girls didn't rate me right. The judges, were just giving them full control. So that's it for now, right? You can just let that you know, not get to you because who cares at this point? It's over with. Of course, I want to know all the deets. And if you scored me low, I'm going to ask you why straight up to your face. I'm not going to be offended unless you put me low and I did better than you. And then you put yourself higher. Well, I guess that's not possible in this Rate of Queen, but you know what I'm saying. Um,
Well,
additionally, oh, sorry, you were going to
no,
say?
no, 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 go for it.
Okay, additionally, so the second group, this was the gag. When they got to Lana, everyone rated Lana third or fourth, except for Ariadne, who obviously rated her first as their deal. And I thought that was so interesting because the judges' comments on her performance said that they didn't really think that highly of her. So, like, not that they didn't think highly of her, but I shouldn't say that. I should say they didn't think her performance was as captivating as other girls were in her group. So I was shocked that so many girls like rated her so, I guess, high in terms of where the placement was. And what I noticed also was that when Lydia's page, like when Lydia was ranked, she was ranked mostly fourth and fifth, and but Lana had given her the number two spot, like we said, again to help her out, and then Crystal ranked her seventh, which I thought was crazy because again, you rank me below Joella and Acacia, like what, bitch? What?
Yeah, that was a little nuts.
Um,
I mean,
and I
I
know
was
Anya,
thrown off that Lana was as up as high as she was, anyways. Um,
right?
like that clearly comes down to, for me, letting me know that the girls just really like Lana. I don't think it has anything
Oh,
to do with them actually
definitely.
evaluating the performance. I think a lot of their choices for those, because I mean, obviously, like Crystal, Corey, Anya, five of them did basically the same exact thing. So it was just going to come down to really how they really liked them, honestly, if you really think about it. So I was more gagged that Corey was down though, because I figured that everybody liked Corey. I didn't think that
Oh,
they ranked her that
that
low.
was the
That was
biggest
shocking.
gag. Corey got a number seven on that list. Like we all saw Hormona Lisa. You know who gave her that number seven was Lucky Stars. I was shook. I was like, Lucky, why didn't you like Corey's, but you ranked Hormona Lisa above Corey? Did you have something going on there? Like, I was confused. I was gagged. I didn't understand. And speaking of, the last person I really want to talk about here in terms of what they ranked was Anya got a number one from Joella. And I was
Yeah,
like, now,
shocking.
Joella, how the hell did you rank Anya number one? Like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but let's be real. Lexi Love was the easiest, biggest standout of that group, and I
Out of the
thought
whole
everyone should
cast,
have given her.
honestly.
Truly, no, truly, she really did have the best talent, I think. And I was like, I was expecting her to get like everyone's number one, other than Ariadne. I understand that one. I get it, and so it's not too surprising she still ends up in first place. But some of the things that ended up being really interesting was Anya had one of the biggest reactions to Lana and Ariadne's like friendship deal alliance thing. Like it was a big deal. Like, she didn't know people were going to be playing that, and she's like, "That's so unfair." Blah blah blah. But is it? No, it's not. And you mentioned Corey King, and Corey King was actually the queen right below or right above Hormona Lisa. She got the sixth worst, or what would be the second worst uh, overall like reactions from the queens, which I was gagged about because again, I remember saying that she could have been my top two because I
Hmm.
really enjoyed her performance. So for her to get sixth place out of her queen group is wild. Now she did say that a lot of it probably has to do with the fact that she is the villain of the season. She said that in like the Untucked or in the room or something. I don't remember which. And I guess that's fine. I mean, I'd rather someone be honest because she seemed to be the most genuine. Like clearly she was sucking up, but she like kind of made a joke of it to the other girls. But that was really wild to me because I didn't expect her to be so far down in the placements in her group, and just so many of the people felt very. offended by like their placements, which I kind of understand, but at the same time, if I'm not in the bottom, I'm taking it.
Well, we
And
can
I
only
don't know
hope
why somebody.
when they do this again, because you know they're gonna do it again. Can't wait to see how
Oh, I
that one
love
turns
this
out.
twist. This is the best. Like Raider Queen is one of the best twists. I don't know how I feel about it with a bottom two placement and possibly someone going home, but I do love the Raider Queen twist.
I don't mind it for non-elimination things and whatnot. Like I didn't mind
Yeah.
the way that they set it up this way. Like had they had an elimination, I think I would have been fine with it, especially knowing that it probably would have been a comeback at some point. But I mean, obviously
Hmm.
that didn't happen, and I mean, let's be real. These girls don't need these kind of twists to manufacture drama at this point because they did enough of it on their own this episode. So, uh,
Oh,
it, it,
that's for sure.
it's speaking of that. Let's go. We can talk about the Monopulence Monopoly Design Challenge here, really quick before we get into what sort of drama stemmed from that. But overall, what we kind of get from this episode is each queen during the mini challenge has to draw a property card at random. Some of them have money value, some of them allow them to steal from another player. It was obviously set up here, by the way, too, for Lana or whoever was going to get the card stolen from them from Crystal, that they were going to get the steal card to steal the money back from Crystal.
Yeah.
Like, obviously set up that way. But it is what it is. We're not gonna say nothing about it. It's fine. It was harmless, fun, so whatever. Um, but eventually, after they each get their property, it splits them into one of five teams where they will have to share materials to create a monochromatic outfit that says opulence. And I won't lie. When I first saw this, I thought each girl was gonna get like a specific like property color, and then the ones that were left over were gonna get like community chest and like chance and like
Yeah. So I
jail
thought
and like
too, or like the electric works or whatever,
yeah,
the
a
water. Yeah.
railroad. Like I thought that
Yeah,
that
I
would have
was
made
maybe a
so
free
much more sense.
parking
Yes,
or
like
a jail.
there's
Yes, like
so
I thought
there's so many places they could have gone with this. Like
there's
I
eight different property colors to start with. There are 14 girls. You know,
Yeah, but there's
there are so
definitely like
many.
four different. Yeah, there's eight different things, but then you have like at least four, five, six different like objects on that board that you could
Right,
also
like
turn
you
into.
like you said, community chest, the free parking, the jail, the you could even do the chance if you wanted to,
You,
the railroads, the electric company.
there was so much they could have done.
Give
So
us the luxury tax one.
I was a little just kind of thrown off when they just decided to just choose one of the five colors. Like I thought this was a little bit of a stretch for them to try to connect this to Monopoly based off of this. Like I'm just like,
Hmm.
is this just did y'all just got the Monopoly promotion and you're like just trying to work this in somehow? Um, I
Oh,
felt like they could have done
definitely.
it way better. But did you like this challenge overall, Jack? Did it say opulence to you?
Um, I did love this challenge. You know me, I love design challenges. It's one of my favorite things. I think it really shows if a girl knows her body, if she knows how to serve drag, how to serve a look. I think opulence is a great category because you can really go kind of whichever way you wanted to, and clearly it's a monochromatic look, which is really fun because it really monochromatics really show if a girl kind of knows what she can use to like kind of stand out in her outfit. Like we'll discuss, some of the queens really made some great decisions with the materials they used. But one of my biggest downfalls, kind of going off what you said, I kind of felt like since there were eight properties, we could have at least gotten like teams of two, because we actually end up with four teams of three and one team of two, and I kind of feel like that was a big advantage for the girls on the team of two because I think there was the same amount of material for every team.
And let's be real, the team of two got blue, which is going to be like
Right.
one of the best colors. I'm like,
Right.
eh. Like I obviously I'm pretty sure no one wanted to be brown. I mean, actually, browns would have been good. Browns would have been fine.
No,
Like we
well,
saw the
and
Browntown
they
Runway, that was
updated to
fine.
purple too,
hmm Like even the
and
light
they're
blues,
just
like
not done the light blue. Yeah,
there
like there was
was
magenta. There's the light blues, and there's either the brown or the purple, depending
oh
on the
yeah, and
version you're
that's
wearing.
right. Yeah, they
So
could
like
have absolutely spread them out a little bit. So
definitely, it's pretty much the rainbow challenge. Maybe they're trying to avoid that.
yeah, but I mean they're basically there without the purple.
True,
You're
true, they
basically
are.
here, like so I'm just
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was fine. But I think the thing that made it the best though was all this drama. all this random drama. Like I can't remember the last time we've had like this much drama during a design challenge. Let me start out with the first one, maybe the lesser of the two that they kind of blew up here. We'll call this one Stonegate. And this is where
Oh, Tailgate,
Miss
yes.
Lexi Love, she calls out Harmona Lisa for cheating, and apparently, both Susie too was doing this too. Um, that they're only supposed to be using the supplies that they're given to make their outfits, but some girls were using their own stones to embellish their outfits. Apparently Lexi said something, and we get cut to just a shot of Harmona with just she went from sadness to pissed off and bitter because she's just here with this look on her face, like just staring Lexi daggers as she's pulling all these jewels off of her outfit. Let's be real, we'll get to her outfit later. I don't think she needed them to begin with. Um,
No,
but
she didn't.
what I thought was most interesting about all this, though, is how they set this up here, Jack. Because I don't know if part of the reason why I'm kind of glad we're doing this a little bit late because we get a little bit of insider tea from all the other sources as they come out. And Miss Joella was the guest at Roscoe's this week, and I don't know if you saw Roscoe's here, Jack, but she said straight up that this was a scene that Lexi straight up screamed at Harmona and production for her to take those off of her dress. Like it wasn't like a, oh, I think she's using it. I think she can take it off. Like she was straight up, according to Joella, yelling and screaming and causing a fit. I am very interested why we did not see this version of events if it happened, because in a lot of ways, to me, it kind of seems perhaps they're protecting Lexi a little bit in that edit because like they are doing like everything they possibly can to bury Harmony here at this point, as far as I'm concerned. Like any negative thing that she does, she could breathe wrong, and they'll put it in there with her like saying just you know. So it's just like it feels like a form of editing protection here for Miss Lexi, which I'm fine with because I think that means that her chances of winning obviously go up if they're willing to kind of protect and edit around certain
Mhm.
things. But like I find it very interesting that that was kind of how it all went down here. Um, what were your thoughts here on Stonegate?
Well, I think it's interesting that this like piece of information comes out, but like I think maybe one of the first things we get to ask is, did this happen on camera? Like, did this actually happen on camera, or was it one of those backstage we didn't have it all on the girls and we were like scrambling to try to get it? We just didn't get the like information or the taping that would look good for editing. That's a possibility. But also it's weird because, we talked about it. You mentioned how it was also Susie who had it on her outfit, and we found out
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter from that. And so it's weird because again, there's another layer of this editing where nothing was talked about with Susie in the episode about this.
True.
So is that protecting Susie from a negative critique? Is that like, and for me, I don't care if Lexi yelled at the bitch straight up. I would be like, yeah, you're fucking cheating, bitch. Like, take the shit off your dress. And if it rips a hole in it, too damn bad. Like, for me, if I was them, honestly, I'd be happy. I'd be like, oh, I'm not getting disqualified this episode at least.
Right. You think that they would have been like, oh, okay, well, like, okay, thank you for telling me, because you could have ended up as that what's her face from Philippines One who ends up using the cage, and you're like, oh, you're in the bottom because you weren't
Right.
supposed to use that cage. It's like,
And if we're being honest, I think Hormona Lisa's outfit looks better without the stoning. And if we're gonna be keep it 100, we wouldn't even have known about Susie's probably.
mhm,
In fact,
yeah,
it probably looks better without the stoning. No hate, but I don't know if it would have looked better with the stoning. We would have
I
to
don't think
see,
that's
right?
hating. I think you're being very right. I mean, they looked honestly. Harmona and Susie had two. I wouldn't say like my favorite looks, but
No,
two
they
that I
were
stuck
just
right in the middle of the pack as far as I'm concerned because they were strong, but there were definitely stronger
Uh,
looks as far as I'm
I
concerned.
definitely put both of them towards the bottom of the middle for myself, but like, yeah, I agree. Just because I think there was like not so much risk taken, but we can get into that later.
Hmm.
Let's get into this
Yeah.
more drama.
Yeah, let's get into our big section of drama here, which we'll call Trimgate, since it seems to be the fun the gates that we have going on here. Where's Lux? We need to get more gates going. So y'all kind of already know what happened here. I mean, like, I wish we could have seen like leading up to it, like the discussion that they said that they had beforehand, because we kind of just come in like after the fact. But there's obviously a discussion going on here at some point between Jules and Anya, and according to what kind of I think what we could get into it here, um, Jules had taken some trimming that she was planning on using for her outfit, and she had it amongst all of her supplies. Apparently, Anya had gone to her at some point asking her if she was going to use it. Jules says that she was, but she hadn't gotten to use it yet. Well, flash forward to the end of their conversation, and all of a sudden the trim is now on Anya's outfit, and Jules is yelling at her for taking it. I'm kind of two minds here, because obviously, if you're getting the supplies and everything, you should be able to claim what what you got. Like it's first come first serve at the end of the day. You could share it if you want to, but ultimately, Jules was in possession of it. Should have been for Jules.
Mhm.
But this is a competition.
Well,
We are not in a sorority. This is not a school for girls. This is a modeling competition. Just kidding. I mean, sorry, I'm stuck in my drag or my next top model days. Oh my gosh, no, but it's a competition at the end of the day. Um, I don't mind Anya owning it and just doing it. The only thing I will say though is you have to be very conscious about what you're kind of doing in these competitions, because if you're willing to be that competitive to the point where you're going to piss everybody else off, don't be surprised if one, they don't want to help you when you need help later on, and two, if Raider King comes back, if your ass is in the bottom. All I'm gonna say
hmm
there.
oh yeah, definitely. You make a very valid points here. I think on that as well, Anya admits later in the episode and during Untucked that she was going to steal it regardless. She
I love
said it
it.
was finders keepers in the workroom, and the girl, and I think it was Crystal, who was like, "Well, girl, I believe in finders keepers." And Anya's like, "Yep," and I found it, and they were like, "Well, didn't Jules already have it?" And she's like, "Yep, but that's not finders keeper. That's just stealing straight up." So, it's leaving a bad taste in the mouth of other girls, and I understand there's limited resources, but what's even worse is that Jules is like, okay, I'm doing all this rouging, so it's going to take me a little while before I can get to it. And I was like, okay, cool. So she has this idea, she knows what she wants to do. And then Anya comes up to her to ask for help on making her outfit and what she can do. And let's keep it 100. Anya made a tube dress and then stylized it well, right?
Hmm.
So the other reason she knew what to do next was because she was asking Jules' opinion. She was asking Jules, "What do you think I should do with this girl? Like, how do you think?" And yeah, they're like kind of on a team, but they're not really on a team together. They're just working, together because they have the same colors. So there's got to be some unity there of really like who's gonna take what and what's gonna happen. Blah blah blah, whatever. Well, if you really look at Anya Nerve's outfit without this trimming, baby, that's possibly bottom two. Keep it 100. Like, take because the trimming I'm pretty sure matches everywhere on the dress, the shoulders, and the hat. So if you take all that off, I think that is the best trimming that the green might have had too, because we looked at it was her, Jules, and Joella.
Joella. Hmm.
Yeah, and we can get into that later, but like that would look like the best trimming. And when you look at Jules' outfit at the end, finished product kind of thing, Jules had to go with these different uh shiny circle beads or something that she put up or down, and I don't think it looked well. I don't know what she had originally planned to do with it, but I do feel like it may have made her outfit suffer a bit. I know everyone talks about like the Gautier like inspiration of the cone bra and stuff, although I'm kind of over it at this point because I've seen it a lot. But I mean, there's something to be said about like how would this look differently, like alternate timeline, what would it look like, where would Anya and Jules have ended up? So I understand completely. I cannot be on Anya's side in the slightest. Like I know that some people are split, but if a bitch steals my shit, like okay, you found it. I would rip that shit off the bitch's garment and be like, I found it. Haha. Like, I'm not playing about my shit. Like, you knew I was using it. I told you I was using it. And you did that thing of whole, like, don't ask for permission, ask for
Forgiveness.
forgiveness.
Yeah.
But that's not what she did because you had to ask for permission first and you didn't get permission. See, if you had just done it and not told her, that I would have respected more. Because
Well,
again, that would have been asking
I
for
get that. Yeah,
for
that makes
not the
sense.
permission.
Hmm.
But this is shady to me. And then she ends up in the top, which definitely was drama. I think the only reason she's in the top, honestly, her performance with the outfit was great. Let's get that correct. She did look opulent. I just think this was to stir the pot though, because no chance she was winning this challenge.
Oh, I was gonna say, because yeah, I was gonna bring this up for our first kind of looks here. Obviously, since we're kind of talking about it here, since part of what happened in Untucked here was we do get a long conversation between Jules and Crystal Envy and Lydia, where they're basically trying to decide between the three of them which one of them should have taken Anya's spot in the top here. So, Jack,
Mhm.
for you, which one of the three would have taken Anya's spot in the top here? Go ahead and talk about all three of them right
So for me, we've talked about Jewel Sparkles. I do like her dress, but I just don't think it compares when I'm looking at Crystal Envy and when I'm looking at Lydia's outfits. I think I'm gonna go with Lydia just because I think Lydia did a lot to incorporate her outfit to really make this. She did so much with her materials. She did a lot of the rouging and the hat and the fur everywhere on the inside and the outside to like really match this. And it was beautiful. And then when I look at Crystal's, I love this like sophisticated I am the glamour moment. Like I'm living for that. But the one thing about crystals that I kind of wanted differently was maybe the stone placement a little bit. Or I guess really what would have done it for me was if we had taken off the bows, and it's only because we've seen those bows on her from the last week's look when we were doing the cake runway. And it's just I don't know if it was like a signature thing or she thought it just looked really good. I just wish those weren't there personally because I think it just connected me to it and it gave me less originality because I love the hair, I love the wrap, I love it's like on the floor. She just looks so rich, bitch.
She really does.
Lydia,
Fuck
maybe
those bows.
am I on the? Maybe I'm going back to Crystal now because she does give opulence. Maybe Crystal serves opulence more than. Yep, I'm saying it. Crystal served opulence more than Lydia did, but Lydia's outfit is still opulent, bitch. Oh, it's so hard.
There's
Honestly, these
something
two
about
girls,
Lydia's outfit that I cannot get over that she made that in the same amount of time that like Joella put hers together. Like it's just
girl. I need right. I
ah,
need that. I need it to be at least give us a top four. Give me a top four, girl. I just need to give everyone their flowers for the things because this was a really good design challenge for the most part.
yeah, everybody did really well. And let's talk about our two standouts here because let's be real, regardless how well Anya, Jules, Crystal, Lydia did, I don't think anybody came close to getting this win like Arietti and Sam Star did. Oh my god, these two looks are some of the best design challenge looks I think we've had in such a long time. And like Arietti's in general, just the silhouette itself.
Mm.
Oh my god, it's so good. And then you throw in the fabric choices that she used here. That hair
Ugh.
that just works so with and she clearly embellished it with the red too on it
Yep.
as well.
Hmm.
Um the only thing I will say, I'm not a fan of the elf makeup 100%. Like it's not terrible. It's not Susie Toots little lips at all, but like
Oh yeah,
it's a little the fashion alien thing. It gets a little old for us here. I think a little bit, but the way that she put this all together though too, I cannot take away this away from her whatsoever. Like this was I think my favorite look of the night without a doubt, and Sam Star was up there as well too, just because the way that she was able to design this look with all the different textures on the garment and just the fabric choices that she used and the way that she just designed it as far as I'm concerned here, I think that is key to why she ended up doing so well because she looks rich as fuck. She looks so
she
rich.
sure is rich.
Oh, like it, same thing. She made this in the same amount of time that it took some of these other girls to make a bodice. Like this, this isn't perfection, as far as I'm concerned. I would have given the win to Arietti, I think, over Sam, but I definitely understand why Sam got the win here. Um, I do kind of think as well too. It might be a little bit of a Jan situation where Ariadne clearly is going to feel some type of way about not winning.
Uh-huh.
I don't think Sam would have. I think Sam would have probably just continued on for a little bit. It probably would have taken Sam a little bit longer to trigger her, but clearly, next episode, Ariadne is going to feel some type of way, just like they did with Anya. So, like, it's very clearly they know what they're doing to produce this show, but uh, still,
Well, can I
still,
just say
go for
something
it.
about Ariadne? We already talked about everything being amazing, the jewels, great, perfect, whatever. The only thing I wanted to change slightly was the color of the shoe. And
I
let
was
me
gonna say
just
it's
be
the shoes, huh?
it's the shoe. And it's not a bad shoe. It's just slightly the wrong red, but let me tell you something, the jewel on the bottom like really brings it together. But and it's not even her fault because I can almost guarantee they didn't have the exact color red shoe she brought. Like she probably didn't bring in an exact red color of that shoe. No one else probably had that one that she could wear, and they probably didn't give them all like shoes that matched every fabric or anything like that. So it is such a small nitpick of mine, and I want to give her props because she definitely dials back the makeup here from what we've seen as far as the alien thing, because I do think the makeup definitely changes, and I agree with you that it could have been dialed back just a little bit more too, but she looks gorgeous, and I definitely understand. But one thing I want to also talk about is how much the sleeves look like the hips. Like it's just, oh, it's so well done, and the like little what's that called? They're like dragging on the floor from her arms. It just looks beautiful. But one thing on Drag Race, and this is just some tea. I'm so sorry, girls. It has to be said because someone's got to say it. Ariadne came into this competition as a Hispanic woman, and we know how that kind of goes in Drag Race. We only have one winner. So we kind of get that. I'm just saying, I feel like that's a big deal. I feel like it's something we gotta talk about. But with Sam, I think this is so beautifully done. I love the fact that she has it kind of trailing on the ground behind her. Who doesn't love a little bit of a train always? Like, if you don't have something trailing behind you, you're probably not as opulent as you think you are, bitch. Even the way she tied the hat onto her head underneath her chin, and like we can't even really see it. The low, not hanging. I'm sorry, the non-hanging earring she has on to not distract away from anything, really elongating her neck here, even with the choices she picked in all of these different jewels she put around like the sides, off her shoulder, off like her necklace, even the collar of the dress. Like it's just so good. And she made the fan. Bitch, she made the fan and the headpiece. It's like these attentions to details that really, really just do like really make you go over the top. Like we talked about Crystal Envy, and she was the other girl in blue. These two both did an amazing job. Is it maybe because they didn't have to fight over as many materials? Possibly, but they both did an amazing job either way. And they look rich. People were clocking her for the hair, but personally, I loved the small hair choice here because I think it really shows off her neck. I think it shows off the headpiece. My one critique maybe would have been the headpiece could be a little bit more slanted. Personally, just like another 5 or 10 degree angle, but that is my like one nitpick of this look. Like I can't because this great choice of the two different fabrics and incorporating them so well with each other. These fabric choices really show a girl's ability to spot fashion, and I think that's why they did so well this week.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm expecting amazing things from these two on the runway moving forward for sure. Let's
Definitely.
talk about three of our next looks here. And maybe we just group these three together since they have the Stone Gate thing in common here. Let's talk about
Oh
Harmonisa,
yeah.
Lexi Love, and Susie Toot. Let's go and start with Harmona here. I actually love this look on her. Like it looks like I love the fabric choice on it. Like I said before here too. I question to see how the stones would have actually looked on it because like the way that the fabric is as it is, like it's not the most like there was some better fabric choices I think I've seen from some other people who had maybe some fabric that looked a little bit more expensive, but I really liked what she did with it. like it looked really soft too. Like I look like I just want to go up and just feel her, maybe take a nap on her. You know, it looked like it looked really soft. Maybe like a nice drag snuggie. I don't know. But
Drag Snuggie.
it was really well really well constructed. The mermaid hoop was good, you know, I didn't have any, negatives about this. It didn't stand out like some of the other ones, but I didn't have any negatives to it whatsoever. Susie as well too made a pretty simple red dress for the most part, but I like the way that she kind of went for the devil look here. I don't necessarily, it's obviously not anything super original, but stick to what you know. You don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel for your very first design challenge, as we'll talk about someone trying to do that later. Um, for someone who doesn't seem like they're necessarily like maybe like a seamstress per se, I thought she had a good concept and I thought it turned out well. I would say my favorite of the three, though, was definitely Lexi's. I loved just how smart she was to just literally just take the bolt of fabric and just stick it to the back of her. I thought that was just hilariously funny. I love the way that she adorned the garment with feathers. Like, I wouldn't say that she looked as opulent as I want her to necessarily. Like, there was a few poses that she struck on the runway where you could see the bolt fabric behind her that made her look really expensive. But I think my only kind of negative was it was kind of a little bit short cocktaily dress ish, and it didn't really give me super opulence. But she looked good. I thought she still looked good. What are your thoughts
Hmm.
here on our queens involved in the Stone Gate here, Jeff?
Okay, well, let me first give the shout out to like I believe it was Raja and Raven who talked about this with the Hormonal Lisa. I don't know if this they talked about Hormonal Lisa specifically about this, but I think they talked about Joella with this. But Hormonal Lisa did this right thing where in her dress she has the one shoulder have the like little pad on it or whatever. There's something there where the kind of like the part of the fabric straps up goes around. It's great because she's holding things on her arm. She looks opulent. She looks expensive, kind of thing. This is something we've seen from her already, which I think was really smart for her if she wasn't the most confident in her ability to sew. She's got her signature pink hair on, and it's an updo, which I think is really smart. But the thing about the Raja and Raven thing was on the one side, you have the arm thing on the shoulder, and then on the opposite side of her shoulder, that's where the hair piece goes. Like there's this balance, and then we can see the dangling earring down here on that side where there's also no like the fabric doesn't go all the way up to the shoulder, which is really nice because it gives us these proportions. It doesn't look all crunched together, right? And so I think she really accentuated her body well. And I also want to mention how she said in Untucked, actually, that she was kind of thankful that she took off the stoning because it kind of left a type of texture on the material, which I think you can really see when you look at this fabric. And I think she did benefit from this, actually. I think she looks beautiful here again. I also want to say the choices of this tulle with this fabric and then incorporating the tulle throughout in the hair, the things on her arm, and then all the way at the bottom of her dress. This is these small details, kind of thing of where you use it. Really smart, really well done. And she had done like a nice little I forget what it's called. It's is it a pleat? I don't remember what the words are. I'm not like a super fashion everyone knows kind of thing. I'll tell you what I think looks good, but she has this like trim of sewn in the fabric down at the bottom before the tulle, which really gives us that like connection of the element of the fabric is changing now, but you can see clearly and cleanly that it's happening. It's not just some random thing put on top. So I really appreciate that. Now this is where I'm gonna get some hate because I'm not her biggest fan, but Susie too. I wasn't a huge fan of this look. Again, it's safe, it's fine. Do what you know. I agree with that. I think it's very similar to Hormona Lisa. I just didn't think there was much here that like was stylized. I did love the cutouts of the upper arms. I think that was good. But I'm over this devil thing. Like again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but girl, this was so bad, and the makeup with this was just a bad choice. Do you love the earrings though? Let me clock that because her neck looks great like this. She's really well done here, like accentuating her neck height. I think a lot of the time. Um, but the devil horns just felt very unnecessary. It felt like she didn't know what to do, so she just made it there because you can just do that in all red, right? Like it's the first thing you think of when you think of all red. You're like devil, like that's and the makeup again. It's just it looks bad. I know it's her signature, but girl, just draw a full lip for this because the devil ain't gonna look like that. If I
I
was
mean,
the
you don't
devil and
know.
I looked like
You don't
that,
know, girl.
girl, if I was the devil and I looked like that, I would not have the job of being the devil. They would have unhired me so fast. They would have said
Maybe
fired,
that's why
and
the
they
devil's so scary because she paints the tiny lip. Ever think of that?
maybe
Hmm? Hmm?
no, maybe the devil is so scary because the devil actually knows how to do her makeup differently for different looks. Maybe that's what scared Susie too, to do this
The
devil look, and she still
makeup's
failed.
more versatile. Devil's the more
I'm
versatile
sorry.
one.
So I lowered
Okay.
it a couple spaces because I thought it was very basic. I think, especially when we look at the other red outfits, I think when we looked at Ariadne, I was like, girl. And she had this beautiful fabric. She has this beautiful fabric that is really carrying this outfit super hard. Because let's be real, if it had not been for this fabric, baby, it would have been a little bit messy. That being said, do love the choice of the shoe, and I love the choice of the nails. Um, and going on finally to our last girl, I do think she looks the best of the three because I think it is really editorial. It is giving fashion. She told us she saw this in a fashion show. It looks amazing. I love the little like the it's almost like a story of the gem and the little flowers on her outfit. Not little flowers, but feathers on her outfit kind of like go up, and then she has one in her hair on the opposite side of where the trail leads, and she has them at her wrists, in the hair, as her earrings, and clock the gems on the shoes, ladies. Clock the gems on the shoes. The shoes did match because of that, 100%. And these like little feathers throughout on the train all the way back down is amazing. She's really emphasizing her height in these legs. Her legs look beautiful. They are elongated. Maybe there's not much of the neck there because a lot of the length came from her legs, and I love the nails she did with this too. Let's just, very ballerina, very model going to the gig kind of thing to get the job. The hair is slicked back in a bun, very tight and neat. Like everything blended. The makeup looks gorgeous. My big critique with this is I wish the dress had gone down just a little bit less because looks like a panty showing out. And I think you can still be opulent with your panties showing, but I think it would look more opulent if you didn't have your panties showing.
I mean,
That's
as
just
long
my
as you have some
personal
stones on
opinion.
those panties, right?
Yeah, baby, she had a cupcake on it last week. Let's put something else on it this week. Like, you know, maybe that's her trend. Maybe that's her
Right?
trend. Maybe every
Just,
week she'll have something different on it.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Dazzle it, accessorize. I'm cool with
Right.
that. That's
Trend
the new
alert,
25 trend,
dazzle.
right? Right?
Right, right.
Oh, well, let's get into three more looks here before we get into our bottom two here. And these were,
Oh,
well,
goodness.
I'd say one of them I actually didn't mind. I didn't want to put it down here. It just kind of ended up just kind of like popping up here, and that's Acacia Forgot. And I guess I kind of forgot to stick her somewhere earlier. But I didn't mind this look that she made here. I thought it was kind of nice and it's kind of surprising from her. My only issue with Acacia at this moment here is I don't really understand what her like aesthetic is at all. Like she's been bouncing around like from a snowman to whatever she was last week to this, and I'm not really seeing like a through line yet at this point for any of her fashion here. But I didn't mind this. I guess it had a little bit of a country edge to it, you know. The three ruffles were nice, you know. Like it looked kind of. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but it looked well constructed. I guess I don't know. Wasn't necessarily like my favorite fabric choice, and I hate the fact that she did the things on the boobies. Like I think that made it look actually a lot more cheap
You hit the
than it
stone
did.
titties.
Yeah, I don't like the stone titties. No,
Okay.
it kind of kills me a little bit. Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly though, I thought Acacia did pretty well for the most part. I still probably have her kind of lower on my list, maybe, but the two that I kind of thought could possibly be in the bottom here, and one of them was in the bottom, but I kind of thought the other person was going to be in the bottom here, and that's Corey King and Lana Dre, and I kind of wanted to leave them kind of at the same point here because they kind of gave pretty much the same thing if you really kind of think about it. Like they went for this really short kind of cocktail type dress. Both went for trying to like adorn it along the sides with some other sort of different fabric. Corey obviously using like the feathers, and Lana literally looks like she kind of just like bunched up the fabric that she had and like safety pinned it up. Like I don't like Lana's
Mhm.
construction here at all whatsoever. Like I personally prefer Corey's over Lana's. So um again, they're both giving the same thing here, but I think Corey's is not only more attract like appealing to the eye, but it's definitely giving me opulence a lot more than Lana's. Lana's honestly is one of the worst this week for sure. Um,
Oh, for sure.
Jack, go ahead and take the words out of my mouth because you can say it a little bit better than I can. I'm
You want me to talk about the Lana thing?
sure. Yeah, about all three of them, go for
Okay, I'll
it.
leave the Lana for last. Let me leave Lana for last. LL. Um, so I really liked Acacia's outfit. I love these ruffles throughout. They go from the shoulders, the collar, and then the three on the bottom of the dress. I think this is so smart. I think it's very kind of like fashion. They're kind of almost chevron shaped too, if you notice where they're placed. And something I really want to note is I think her fashion is getting slightly better. Her first outfit as the snowman, I want to let everyone know she was a melted snowman, which is why there were white slabs of snow like falling off of her body, like melted. And I
I
don't
get
think
it, but
they
it
ever.
didn't look good, girl. It
No,
just
no,
wasn't
I agree with
designed
you
well.
100%. It was a great concept, poorly executed thing.
Mhm.
And then her last week was like there was a concept here. Again, poorly executed. But that's where I think this outfit is such a success. Concept, great execution too. We have this lacy yellow color with this like yellow fabric that she did and she did ruffling throughout. Like I said, it really matched really well. And I want to bring um a little bit of attention to her face. Again, we're getting this very harsh blush. I want her to fix that makeup because I've said it about other people's. I want her to use less blush because it feels like her blush brush is literally attacking her. Say that 5 times fast. Blush brush, attacking her face. It looks like she's getting beat up by her blush brush. I don't know who did it to her. I don't know if she has some trauma around the blush. I don't know.
She
But
straight up
one
looks
thing
like
I
she's turning into a crayon, honestly, like a purple crayon.
oh god, that's a purple crayon. Girl, it's
Just
almost bruises at this point. It looks
just use her
bruised.
face
Is
to
she
draw a
okay?
picture. Yeah, we need to call
Right.
someone if because I think she's abusing herself here.
Is
She's
Joella made that comment about if she can't beat you, then who can she? Is she being abused by Joella even more than just verbal? Like, hold up. So anyways, but sorry about this. I want to pull attention to the nude shoe. I really love this choice for the transparent like, kind of cutout outfit. I think it also matches well with her skin tone and her hair choice she went with. But she put a stone on the front of each of them to really bring it in to these stones that she has on her titties and her earrings. And I think that's smart. And her ring on one hand, bracelet on the other, very well accessorized. You either got to do all on one or you have to space it out kind of like that. So I want to give those details. Yeah, maybe she didn't need the stone on the titty, and maybe it makes it a little cheaper, but it was very clear she was going that Dolly Parton route. So with Dolly, it takes a lot of money to look this cheap or whatever. I think she accomplished being opulent, being a young Southern woman kind of thing, giving opulence. Like she is definitely the belle of the ball at her rural ass community high school that she went to. There's 50 people maybe in her graduating class, probably,
and
and
she's
she's
number
definitely the belle of the
one.
ball. Yep, she's number one. Not in grades, but definitely in looks right now. And I love that she went to the '80s themed, or maybe she's just from the '80s. I don't know.
Actually, I think
Um,
that's actually what maybe what her theme is a little bit more. She's definitely giving a little 80s. She's definitely giving some retro fashion with her style here. So maybe that's the through line there is the 80s. I
and
kind of can see it now.
right. I kind of want to transition into the her other yellow queen of the week, um, Tori, who has a decent cocktaily look. It's a lot of fur. It's these choices, maybe a little too much fur in places. I do like. again, at least she is mixing the fabrics together. We definitely see it throughout. You know, the gloves are nice with the little fur on the ends of them on the wrists. You know, the fur collar, the fur bottom of the dress, the fur handbag, which maybe wasn't needed. Did love the fur hairpiece though. I really love that. I was living for this. I even like the hair. Some people didn't. I like the hair and I like the hairpiece. The one thing I will say, oh, the shoe is yellow. I just wish she had incorporated either some fur into maybe she should have done with like
More
fur
fur.
into the shoe instead of the handbag. I think that would have been great. At least she has the handbag on the opposite end of her body from where the headpiece is, because you know, again, it gives us a little bit more balance. But it's just a cocktail dress. It doesn't really look opulent. She has jeweling in the earrings and in the um headpiece. And I think if she'd really gone with those jewel pieces either over the fur or something, like we really could have had a good look here. Even maybe like a jewel on each either wrist or the palm, the opposite of the palm, like the top part of the hand, kind of thing. I think could have really just dolled this up. We could have made better, but I can understand why she's in the bottom for this. Um, but you know, Lana last. This is a mess. Let's keep it right there, 100%. This is a mess for me. This is a miss. It's a mess. It's a miss. So I will talk about the good things first. She made a tube dress-ish. There are stones, and I love the stone on the shoe. Love the stones on the shoe. Love the little bracelets on each side, even though I feel like we could have gone one bracelet one and maybe a better ring on the other. We got a bracelet and a ring at least on one hand. And the choices of the jewels in the hair with the hair up, because she has things around her neck and a small earring on each side as opposed to them dangling. Very good choice for what she has going on. But that's kind of where it ends because baby, this is poorly constructed. It's a mess. So we have straps going up from the dress that then are covering, that construction is covered up by this fabric pulled together and like kind of wadded up to go around, and she just put little pin jewels on them, the armpits and the middle of the chest, I guess, just to keep them in place. I think if anything else, or to find like maybe to hide the little bits of scrap she used, because maybe this was all the red scrap material. It looks like she took either the bottom of the toothpaste and just crinkled it up, or found another piece of scrap and said, "I'm gonna do this." Like, there's a hem here, there's a hem here, kind of thing. Like I was looking, I was like, "Oh my god, no, 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 no." The makeup is beautiful. Let's talk about that. I forgot to say that the makeup is beautiful. Sorry. Now this is where you're gonna lose me though. Again, there's a strap on the arm and there's a strap at the shoulder. And then if that wasn't enough, there's a scarf covering kind of the back part of it over her neck. So she's really losing a lot of the length in her neck here and her chest. It's so weird to have this open chest immediately covered by the scarf. Like, get rid of the scarf, get rid of the straps that are on your shoulders, and just do the ones on the side of the arm. I think would look so much more elegant. And if you're going to have a scarf that's going to completely get rid of your neck, at least have it be a train. Have it be down. No, you don't look opulent, bitch. You look like opulent at the Goodwill. You had 5 minutes to find an outfit. I'm being so mean, I know, but like I really hate this. Like I can't do this. Again, the stone on the shoe is great to bring that all together, but this is terrible. This is like, if you take off the scarf, I think it might even just be better because we'll give her some length in her neck, and I think her arms being so skinny and lanky are great for this. I shouldn't say lanky, they are muscular. She's just a very skinny, petite, not petite, that's the wrong word. She's a very skinny and beautiful queen, but like her legs are doing a lot of the work here, baby. Let me tell you. Even though she crumpled up that dress or found something to put at the bottom of it, it's above the knee. It's kind of a weird. I'm not sure if I really like the length of it, but at least it's showing off a little above the knee and all the way down to the shoe, because baby, it's elongating her body so well. Thank God she's tall. Like, She needs it. Trust me, in this dress, she needs it. She is selling it like it is on the Paris runway. Girl, I found it in the Paris streets. It's actually what was polluting the river in Paris at the
Ooh.
Olympics. Like, I was like, throw it away. I'm so sorry if you're a Lana fan. I don't dislike her. I just think this outfit is bad. If she was in the bottom two this week, I wouldn't have been surprised. It could have been bottom two for me.
I
It
mean,
could have been.
honestly, it could have been. Look, like the more I look at it, the more I found so many things wrong with it, and
Girl, I was
I,
trying not to look at it. I was like, please.
uh, yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on.
But yeah, let's move.
Let's move on because we have a bottom two we still have to talk about here.
Yeah.
And if you would have told me last week that this would have been our bottom two, I would have been both not surprised and then extremely surprised because we have Joella and then we have Lucky Stars, and I think everybody around the world is shocked that Lucky Stars does not know how to sew. And I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense considering, the fact that she does, a lot more, I would say, like creative materials when it comes to her drag.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I could kind of see why maybe you don't know how to sew as much, but it still feels strange. Like, it feels like a girl like this would have it in her wheelhouse. And this was the worst outfit of the week for sure. It was Lucky's, unfortunately. And it's not so much the fact that it's not, it's just, it's very clearly not her style whatsoever. And I really wish
Right.
she would have just stuck to what she knew. Because for a fact this bitch could have made an opulent look with her outside the box thinking within her own way.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, she tried to kind of mold to what I feel like she thought the judges wanted her to be, and it just turned out to be just a this. And it's like I don't see the concept in the dress. I don't understand it. It's very not well made at all. Um, it doesn't help that I think out of all the colors here, honestly, orange might be one of the harder ones to pull off in an all monochromatic color here. Other than maybe the green. I think the green and the orange might be the hardest for me. Um, the others are primary colors. I feel like you kind of see primary colors, a little bit more in monochromatic than you kind of do with other ones. But like, I don't like the fabric she chose. It looks like a bed. It's it, it's like that Marie Antoinette look, but like literally out of like a duvet cover or something. I don't understand it. Like it doesn't feel like it's even like symmetric. And Lucky's makeup is very unfortunate here. Like it. Uh, that's all I could really say about that. Like I don't want to be too hard
Mm-hmm.
on her because I really like Lucky. I really do. Um, this was so shocking. This was so shocking. Um, what wasn't shocking though was Joella. Like I think we kind of all felt like Joella was going to be in the bottom of this episode. I will say though, I really loved the fabric that she chose to make the bodysuit out of. I thought it was probably one of the better textures that we saw out of on the runway out of everybody out of all the looks here. Like that was some nice fabric. I think it would have probably worked had she not just, you know, made it into a bodysuit and put some tulle around her. But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
um I will say though, I think it's constructed better than Lana's. So, um,
That's not saying much.
yeah, it's not saying much, but it's the one thing I think I could say about the Ella. I don't want to forget the Ella. So, yeah, um,
Oh, we wish you
g-
could.
I mean, let's just talk about this now here too, because I mean we're getting towards the end of the podcast anyways after these two. Joella in Untucked, the moment she walked up to Lucky and was literally like, "I'm getting a feeling I'm gonna be here next week."
That shit was fucked up. Oh
I
God.
was literally up to that point. I'm just like, Lucky sent her ass home. But then afterwards, I was like, oh my God, am I standing Joella right now in this delusion? Like, she's everything. Like, this confidence. Where can I get it? Where can I find it? Bottle this up and sell it, Joella. You will be a millionaire. Um, honestly though, I think the only reason Joella did not go home first is because Lucky. Honestly, I'm gonna say something really quick here about this too. I think had Lucky been in the top first week like she should have, I think she would have learned during that lip sync that she needs to put tape on her shoes. Um, because the fact that she didn't get to lip sync there and she's going into this here this week, um, yeah, I, I really do feel like had she been able to lip sync the first week, she would have had the shoe moment then, so she wouldn't have been happening here. Um, but sadly, it happened here, and there's no way to justify it. Unfortunately, Lucky, I'm sorry. You were literally one of my favorites here, but like, oof, that was a sad way to go out. Oof, Jack, take it away because I'm gonna start crying here soon.
Okay, let's talk about Joella first because I think her outfit is way simpler to dissect and talk about. So, love this fabric that she chose. We're really upset that no one else got it though, because let's be 100% real. This fabric, she definitely saw it, took it for herself, and immediately the other girls were like, well, shit. Because she was like, I'm having this fabric no matter what. And like, that is what you should do. But then you did this with it. It's a reminder of back to Monet Exchange taking that red fabric and ends up in the bottom against Dusty Ray Bottoms.
Yep.
And I think it was Mo Hart who said she was like looking at it, she's like she's just cutting into that fabric without even knowing what she's gonna do with it, like or something like that. It very much felt like that. It very much felt like that to me because if you look closely at Joella's outfit, here's the issue. It looks like some of the tiling or whatever is coming off while she was running down the runway and like sorry, walking down the runway or whatever, and so you can in the still pictures you can see some of it like bending out onto her like leg and stuff in the crotch area, especially or at the top. And it just doesn't look good. Like she just need to cut off those strands. It kind of almost looks like when there's a big piece of thread hanging off. It kind of looks like that, but with a material like this, because it looks like it's like things on top of the fabric. Obviously, you don't know exactly what the material is. Um, it's hard to work with and to end it so abruptly at these lines on this bodysuit. I don't know if there just wasn't a lot of the material to begin with or if she just didn't want to give us much, but it's like a leotard kind of thing, right? It's really rough. It's not giving opulence. It's she's trying to service opulence, but it's not really working. And then her hair choice. Oh, you know, opulence, you generally want to have like really nice put together hair. And it's not that her hair is bad. It's just with this outfit, it's the hair is down. We can't see the earrings. And then she has a shoulder thing and a hip thing, like two different types of fabric, which I do think these fabrics could have worked together. Though I think I would have loved to see this with the velvet instead of the shiny green. Um, I think, when you have something on your shoulder like this, it was supposed to be like a key part of the outfit to make it stand out more than just the texture. Um, this fabric here is really shiny. It could be like rouged or it could be like uh crafted in a way so that it shows off its shine and it's by the shape you make with it. And here it's being covered up by the hair.
Mhm.
It's very crunching her, making her look smaller, and then the shoes are bad too. And then the material that she did use for the arm and the hip thing, I mean, it doesn't look like it's hemmed well. We can see kind of like the inside of it. It kind of looks rough, and look, I'm not a seamstress either, girl, but it looks rough. It looks rough, and again, there's a lack of accessorizing here too. Like the shoes weren't even brought in together with a jewel. There are really no other jewels here. Because the mid part is so much. Like, imagine if she had just gone with something as simple as a jeweled um she had used some of the other material to maybe make a jeweled belt that sit on the middle of this, and it could have been like a lightly jeweled gown, or like we could have used some of this other material to like maybe create more of a shape for her other than just leotard with this fabric that doesn't really work that well for this. I mean, it's an unfortunate. Like I think the concept good, execution terrible. So earning her spot in the bottom, yeah, I totally understand. But enough about dragging Joelle out. Let's get to Lucky Stars because this is such a sad one. I think we've seen the silhouette multiple times never work on girls, but I want to give everyone some hope and Lucky Star some hope because let's be real, she wasn't confident in it preparing it on the runway. Strike against you, right? The beads or the pearls or whatever off of her neck, just take them off, girl. They're just dragging everything down, and they don't look like they even fit. You just put them there to have jewels there. Take that off. The wig is flatter than the pull-out wigs at the Spirit Halloween store that I have in my closet. That shit is flat, like it's rough. Take that off. Get yourself a real outfit, or not. Sorry, not a real outfit. A real wig, honey. Please do that for yourself. And then the makeup. I don't know what's going on here because you're in a room full of drag queens. You have a guy that's like literally one of the queens is literally trying to bang you, so they really could have helped you in the makeup department. I mean, like, how did we come to this moment? The light is in the wrong areas. It's way too light over here. It's way too dark over here. Like, yikes. If you honestly, if you cut off the head and take off the pearls, the outfit is so much better. But let's keep going. Love the gloves idea. She's kind of giving us a kind of dainty. Maybe she's trying to give us something like elegant, like very Belle of the Ball, or very um, Lady of the South kind of thing, right? She kind of looks like in this outfit right now. She looks like she is going to the fundraiser to lead it, and she didn't know what to put on, so she just let her daughter pick an outfit for her. Um, so if we get off like the wrist things that she has going on, take off those bracelets and stuff because it's just too much. It's over accessorized. That would have been great. The shoes are white, matching these stockings, which are actually really good. They kind of give us like it's somewhere between debutante and like schoolgirl because they're really high. They're above the knee with these bows on them. Really cute features. So she was trying to show these off like in her dress, but it doesn't really work. You kind of need to pick one or the other, or maybe lower them down. Like maybe if they had gone just a little bit up the shin to show them off. I don't know. Um, if it were me, I would have taken some of the orange jewels and maybe either put them on the shoe or had lined the shoe with orange crystals or whatever I had because the orange white thing here is such a great idea. She looks like a creamsicle. It could have been really well done. I actually think if she had taken the little jewel that she has right there above her crotch area on her body, maybe had put that on a strand of pearls around her neck that had connected the pearl necklace with that one piece onto the bodice, we could have had a really cohesive, beautiful neck area, really showing off the skin still, and something could have been put together. If we had taken down the skirt just a little bit in the front and maybe either gone out with it to like still have a flowing upwards of her dress, or maybe gone more of the old Victorian or uh, Victorian's not right. It would have been kind of Marie Antoinette-ish, where the hips would have been out uh, very high, and the then draped down from the center to the sides. I think we really could have saved this look. I think there's a lot of things here that could have been done. It does kind of look messy, trashy. I feel so bad for her, but at the same time, it deserves the bottom placement. And Lana's feeling really lucky here because of it.
Did you ever think that we would be in a world though where Lucky Stars would be the pork chop here? Because like,
No, I never saw a world where Lucky was going to be our pork chop. I thought Lucky was going to be a top seven, top eight queen at least.
mhm. It feels very strange to feel like we're losing her here. Like I was not, I'd never had her on my scorecard going out this early.
Right.
Um, I'm still
We will
kind of
bring back my
in shock.
girls.
Seriously, like I feel like she just had so many unique looks that I was just very excited to kind of see what she was gonna bring. Like just even on the What You Packin' episode, she had some pretty fun looks on there. Um, so I'm a little sad that she's going out here first, but you know, who knows what's in the future here? Maybe she'll get lucky and be able to come back for season 18. Probably not. Maybe
I
she'll
think
get
she's going to
lucky
be a.
and come back for an All Stars.
I think she's going to be a big fan favorite for an All Star season.
Who knows? You know,
People love this drag.
I mean, I do too. Like, I can't wait to honestly see. I hope she does stuff on her Instagram because I will be following and I will be watching. And who knows if we get enough eliminated looks this season, maybe we'll do like a eliminated looks tournament or something like that. Who knows? Um,
Oh yeah.
but oh, our first queen, unfortunately, down does not get the Dunkadunk save, which, again, still feel like you should have just
Shocker.
saved Lucky here and just let Harmona go home because, like, let's be real, the way y'all are setting Harmona up, she's going home in a week or two anyways, so.
Hey, someone has to be the villain.
But I mean, Corey King's right here. I mean, or Anya
Harmona and
Nerve at this
Joella.
point here too.
Right.
Joella.
Harmona, Joella, Anya, all of them villains, but they were making a couple different villains just because they weren't sure who was going to go home first.
Seriously though. Um, well, next week, Jack. We have our, I believe, the advert style challenge. I think they've kind of done something similar to this, like season five or six. I want to say with like the Untucked challenge. Seven, six, five? No, maybe it was five. When they did the Untucked challenge and they had like make commercials and
Yes, it
everything.
was
14,
season
they did it
five,
too. Um,
two, three,
for,
and four seasons of Untucked.
Mhm. So it seems like they're kind of bringing that kind of idea back here. So that should be fun. As far as at least it's like an acting challenge where like they all kind of know the source material here. So um, let's just do our predictions. Who's going to be next queen out here? Clearly, we almost had were right last week with Joella, but she saved herself. Is she going to save herself again this week? Should we expect to see another queen in the bottom here?
Should we expect to see a different queen in the bottom? Actually, maybe because this is an acting challenge. Joella said that she's a she's a girl known for her opulence in LA, which I think we all laughed at simultaneously because it was just adding another layer to that delusion. Now, do I think that she's gonna go home next? No, actually, I think she's gonna be here just a little bit longer. I think she's going to be a girl who maybe we see be more of a villain for a little bit longer because she's so entertaining. She's really making the season something that we all, I think, love because let's be real, she has the delusion and the drag confidence that everyone wishes they had when it came to when it came to a competition like this. There's nothing better than being this sure that you're killing the game when you're not.
Right. Yeah,
I,
it can only help you, honestly.
it really can. I mean, well, it's going to hinder you, but it's
It
going
will
to
help
help
you
you
more
get.
than being in your head all the time.
Yeah, it's better than being in your head. It's unfortunately difficult to get out of that kind of space, but maybe she'll get a wake up call about this, but it doesn't seem like it. It seems like she's very still sure of herself. If I had to guess though, I think we're gonna get a somewhat shocking, not so shocking, like second out. Right now, I kind of feel like they're setting us up for Lydia to go home sooner than later, which is weird
Mm,
because they haven't given us much with her, right?
hmm
Um, it feels like she does really well on the runways. She's done well in all the challenges so far, but it feels like they're kind of just throwing her to the side.
hmm
Um, I could see an unfortunate Lydia goes home because she's not a great actress. I could see. I think Hormonalise is going to be fine because it's a comedy challenge. I could see. Normally, I would say maybe Anya Nerve, but I feel like they're really loving Anya Nerve so far, so I don't see her going home. And I think she can lip sync. So even if she did end up in the bottom, I'm not so sure about that.
You want to know who I'm thinking?
Ooh, yes.
I'm thinking Acacia. I don't get comedy queen from her
Oh,
at all whatsoever. And like she's had like a very subdued edit as well too, where I feel like we're not really getting to know her that much. She doesn't seem to
mhm.
have much of a storyline, honestly. So, um, for me, I feel like Acacia's gone next week. Like I don't see her being someone that's gonna have like a runway that's gonna be able to save her. And out of all these girls, she feels like maybe one of the ones that takes herself a little bit more seriously than the others. Like I
Yeah,
don't get the sense of fun or outgoingness that I do from other queens here. So I think
yeah,
Acacia
that's
is my
fair.
choice.
You know what I think it is about Acacia? I think it's she's very she's funny, just not in like an acting challenge. She's funny being herself kind of thing. I think is what's going to be her issue is like maybe she has a great personality. I think you're right. She maybe takes it very seriously. You know, she said she's really into music, and hopefully she gets to stay around for our girl group challenge. Obviously, we don't want to lose Joella. She might do amazing or flop this week, but maybe she'll be the queen that gets in the bottom a lot during the season, but stays for like 3 or 4 episodes. You know,
I
so
see her as
I
like
think
the early, that one girl that seems like she's always in trouble early in the first few episodes that eventually gets knocked out.
right
The
with the Jiggly
mandatory
Caliente.
meeting, yeah, the
Oh,
Jiggly
yep.
Caliente, yeah. Um,
Yes, yes. I see that for her.
mhm.
I could also see a surprise Ariete going home.
Mm, that would be a little shocking.
It would be
Honestly,
shocking, but
I
it would
could
make
see some of
sense.
those young fashion girls possibly being in trouble here. Ariete, Crystal, Jules. You said Lydia as well. I mean,
Yeah.
they kind of definitely kind of give the same kind of vibes Acacia gives a little bit. I'd put Lana in that category, but Lana doesn't seem to be. I feel like Lana should be fine. Um,
Yeah, I think
but
Lana is going to be loud enough to like make her mark regardless of if she's the funniest in the group. She's not afraid to at least put herself out there and like say the lines. Some girls get on the show and they're like, I'm gonna say my line now. I'm gonna say it. Like she doesn't seem like that girl, so I think she'll be fine. At least not for one of those moments. Like maybe we'll have a loud person like Joella be in the bottom just because she says the lines but doesn't do it well. I think Lana will at least like Lana's a little more self-aware, I think.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
So, I mean, not to hate on people too hard about, but you know, that's just my opinion.
No, it's true though, and I think the next episode actually is going to be a good moment here too, because we haven't seen them do acting yet in comedy. So, well, we've seen Harmona do it, and let's hope she does better with other people's material though.
Oh god.
Well, Jack, I think that's pretty much everything we kind of wanted to talk about here tonight. Do you have any final words here?
Yeah, one final word real quick. I want to say that if you're not watching Untucked, you're only getting half the story, and that's really true this season. I think that it has been such a great Untucked season. I think we have such a great cast this season. I am looking forward every Friday normally, but this season I'm even more interested in knowing who's going to do well, who's going to have maybe a moment in the Untucked when there's going to be a fight. Because I feel like these girls are really feisty. I feel like these girls don't don't want to don't want to back down from each other. I think they're really willing to like tell them how they feel. And I think we're going to
Mhm.
see Corey do extremely well in this next challenge, which could mean we get a moment with Corey telling a girl how she didn't do well. I'm hoping. Look, I know it's rough, but I'm hoping for it.
I mean, honestly, anything that leads to more drama at this point, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because these girls, I think the Kumbaya period of Drag Race hopefully is finally over. Over at a point where
Yeah.
everyone realizes that, like, hey, we're here to make a TV show. Like, we could still be friends and stuff afterwards, but like, just because you have a fight here and there, don't mean that you don't get along. You know, um, make some good TV. And I think that's what they're here for. Every girl here, for the most part, um, it feels like they're ready to fight. They're all the vixen. Yeah.
I came to fight. No, you didn't, girl. Please don't.
Well, let's hope not. I mean, at this point, with the way they're going here, if we get a physical brawl, we'll take that. I'll take that. Just beat each other up. Just go at it. Go for it. Just next time someone comes at you, Harmona telling you to take the stones off, just punch them right in the face. Be like, no.
No, oh my god. Yeah, get disqualified from the competition,
Be
girl.
like,
That's
I'll
the way
give
to
you
do it.
stones.
Yeah, she's gonna give you a
uh,
stone face.
Honestly, you're right though. This is a fun group, and like I'm very excited to kind of see what other just ridiculousness that they could get themselves into, and hopefully y'all can either, because especially if you lasted this long, y'all. And thank you again so much for listening. As always, it's a pleasure having y'all here. Thank you, and please like and subscribe because it lets y'all know that you're enjoying the content. and be sure to catch all of our continuing coverage with Drag Race Season 17. We're going to be doing lots of other Drag Race content over the next couple of months until we get an announcement for whenever the next Drag Race franchise is going to be. And who knows, maybe we'll do some mid-season coverage on some of the other shows we're watching, like Deal or No Deal Island 2 with our Timu Nicole Kidman. Maybe Traders. We could do some Traders content here with poor Bob, unfortunately, no longer being on the show. Um, who knows? We got a bunch of other shows and stuff we could talk about. So, as always, y'all. And on behalf of my co-caster Jack, this is Renegade signing out. Remember, keep spilling that tea, y'all. Bye.
Goodbye.